There will be no more negotiations. This is a war until the regime is destroyed. US President Donald Trump stated that after the start of Operation Epic Fury, Iran wants to resume negotiations, but the United States is now against any dialogue. Trump also said that the operation in Iran was originally planned to last 4 to 5 weeks, but it may go on much longer. Trump added that it is still unclear who is leading Iran after the death of the country's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, but the operation may be prolonged. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu rejected the idea that the conflict would last for years like previous wars in the region. At the same time, American General Dan Kane directly stated that it is necessary to prepare for a prolonged war and for heavy casualties among American soldiers. On the other hand, Secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, Ali Larijani, stated that Iran is ready for a long war with the Americans and is prepared to make huge sacrifices, but does not intend to surrender. And now, in this episode, we will talk with you about the forecasts and the duration of this war. My name is Alexi Pichi. Let's discuss this topic together. But before we start, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, give it a like, and leave any comment under this episode. Thank you. It really helps a lot in promoting the content on YouTube, and I will be very grateful to you for that. In addition, subscribe to my Telegram channel, Peachy News. The link is in the description of this video. There we publish breaking news as it comes in. So, US President Donald Trump stated today that after the start of Operation Epic Fury, Iran wants to resume negotiations, but the US is now against it. Quote, "The air defense, Air Force, Navy, and the country's leadership have disappeared. They want to negotiate, but I told them it's too late." At the same time, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt explained what goals the US is setting for itself within the framework of this operation. In addition to preventing the acquisition of nuclear weapons, it is also about destroying Iran's missile arsenal. In the country's Security Council, blocking the activities of terrorist organizations, of the regime, and homemade explosive devices, the so-called improvised bombs, which are not made in factories but in the field from improvised materials. Basically, the task is to destroy all of Iran's military potential and those very proxy forces throughout the region. And here the story also came up that the US President's Special Representative Stephen Witkoff said today that during the first round of negotiations with the Iranians earlier this year, their diplomats openly boasted about having enough enriched uranium, 460 kilograms, to make 11 nuclear bombs. And the Iranians openly threatened the Americans, saying, "Listen, we have enough enriched uranium and we really can make these nuclear bombs, so you better make some concessions." But Trump himself also added that the war could drag on. And Trump said on Monday that the operation in Iran was originally planned for 4 to 5 weeks, but it could last much longer. Next, I'll quote him. "We are already significantly ahead of our time estimates, but however much time it takes, that's not a problem. We'll do whatever is necessary." Then Trump added that it's still unclear who is leading Iran after the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who was killed in the first hours of the US-Israeli military campaign. But estimates about the duration of the war vary greatly right now. US Vice President J.D. Vance assures that the US military operation against Iran will not last for years. Here is his quote. "President Donald Trump's goal is to make sure that Tehran can never possess nuclear weapons. The president has clearly defined what he wants to achieve, and there is simply no way that Donald Trump will allow the US to get drawn into a years-long conflict with no clear end and no clear objective. We are not going to get involved in the problems we had with Iraq and Afghanistan. Iran's nuclear facilities were built not only for uranium enrichment for peaceful purposes, as the Ayatollah regime claims, but also for developing nuclear weapons." In addition to this, Donald Trump himself stated today that, quote, "By average standards, we have an almost unlimited supply of weapons. Wars can be fought forever and very successfully with such a stockpile. By higher standards, we have good reserves, but not exactly the kind we would like to see. A lot of additional advanced weaponry is stored in various countries. As you can understand, this is a hint that, if necessary, the US is ready to fight for a long time." Meanwhile, the number of American soldiers killed as a result of retaliatory actions by Iranian forces has risen to 6. This was reported by the United States Central Command. Quote, 6 American servicemen were killed in action. American troops recently discovered the remains of 2 servicemen previously considered missing in action at a site that was damaged during the initial Iranian attacks in the region. At the same time, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stated on March 3rd that the war against Iran will not last for years. Although the conflict has escalated because Israel once again attacked the Iran-backed group Hezbollah in Lebanon, and Iran struck targets in the Persian Gulf, where US bases are located. Next is a quote from Netanyahu. I said that this could be quick and decisive. It may take some time, but it won't take years. This is not an endless war. At the same time, Israeli Lieutenant Colonel Nadav Shoshani stated that the duration of the military campaign may change depending on how events unfold, adding that Israel has prepared a general plan lasting for weeks. When asked whether Israel could deploy ground troops in Iran, Shoshani replied that it is unlikely but did not completely rule out such a possibility. Well, Iran is ready for a long war with the US. This was stated by the Secretary of the country's Supreme National Security Council, Ali Larijani. Here is his quote. We will defend ourselves desperately and our ancient 6,000-year-old civilization no matter the price we have to pay, and we will make our enemies regret it. Iran, unlike the United States, is prepared for a long war. And so, according to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, in the past 2 days, Iran has attacked 60 strategic targets and 500 military facilities of the US and Israel, launching more than 700 drones and hundreds of missiles. They also claim that Iran's reserves are almost endless. So despite the statements, there are more and more signs now that the war is entering a prolonged phase. Especially since the day before, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio stated that the strongest strikes from the American military against Iran are still ahead. And the next stage will be tougher for this country. Next, I'll quote him. The strongest strikes from the American military are still ahead. The next stage will be even tougher for Iran than it is now. How long will it take? I don't know how long it will take. We have objectives. We will do this as long as it takes to achieve them. The goal of the American operation is to destroy Iran's ballistic missile capabilities and its ability to produce them, and also to eliminate the threat their fleet poses to global operations. I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. If you found this episode interesting and useful, you can support the work of this YouTube channel with your donation or subscription using the links and details in the description of this video or by the QR code on your screens. That's all for now. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye, everyone. Subtitles.